do I go to?
Simple tax returns only. Snap your W-2 and file Fed and State for free. Guaranteed. Get the app now.
We're live. Come on, do the live dance, Rosie.
I thought you had a little thing.
Well, first there's a little dance, and then I go, hey guys, I am super excited to be live right now with Michael Rosenbaum, incredibly talented actor. We met in Australia at a convention because he travels the world as Lex Luthor in Smallville.
Well, I would say I travel the world as Lex Luthor. I sometimes go to conventions and meet people, and one of the characters they like, hopefully, is Lex Luthor. But I wouldn't say I get on the plane and go, get me a martini on the rocks now.
Is that what he would do?
Well, he'd fly his own plane. That guy was really rich. People.
Yeah.
I think in the past, like years ago when I first got Smallville, when I went on dates, I think women assumed I was a billionaire who lived in a castle, who drove Maseratis, and I'm like, no, I got a van, and
He does have a van. It's a white van, right? It looks like you could smuggle. Well, that's really dark. I'm not going to say that.
Well, when I was a kid, my parents, they never let anybody spend the night. No kids, nothing. So I never had friends spend it. They never took us on road trips. So my other friends always, their family had caravans and whatever. They'd take us on road trips. So I always, one day I'm going to get myself a van and I'm going to load my friends up and we're going to go to all these cool places. And that's what I did. And that's why I have the van. So don't think creeper van.
No. It's adorable. But you do this like adult summer camp thing every summer.
I do. There was this camp that my friends and I would go to where it was called Camp No Counselors, and I don't think it exists anymore. But I'm going to actually start up my own camp, and it's like a weekend full of 80s music, some 80s parties at night. But it's like camp where you can go on hikes and shoot bow and arrows and play dodgeball and kickball and softball and swim. And so I'm going to do something like that. We had to postpone it, but it's going to probably happen, if not this year, early next year. So it's called Camp Rosie.
How can I sign up?
Well, maybe I'll give you a discount.
You're like, the only VIPs are invited. Invite only.
No, I have a really great supportive Patreon group. Mm-hmm. My patrons, I always say, if you want to join Patreon, it's awesome. People who love the podcast and stuff, they join and support me and support the podcast. But I always said that they'll get first dibs. So I'll send the invite to them because the camp will only be for like 200 people. So
okay.
How many patrons? By the way, if you join Patreon, I will send you a message and say hi immediately after. It's a great family, and I love all my patrons. Hi, patrons, if you're watching.
Hi, yeah. So the chat says that one comment is that you're the only Lex Luthor they acknowledge, which I think is very important. And one of the questions is, who's Michael's dentist? I love his teeth.
Well, these are knocked out in hockey.
Isn't that
so these are veneers, but they've been in my mouth for 15 years, and my teeth are all right. I still have, no one has perfect teeth. I mean, you have good teeth, though, don't you?
They're decent. Yeah, I brush my teeth every day. Well, I never had braces.
Yeah, I didn't have braces or anything, but my family, there were some teeth problems with especially with my mom, her side of the family, but I didn't get those problems. Man, what a pain in the ass, man.
I know. You're lucky.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people watching right now that love voice acting in video games and animation, and you are obviously a super good-looking on-camera actor. Oh God! Stop and keep talking.
I sure got better lighting on. I have one of these things, but it wasn't working. This ring thing. Watch. See, it just makes you more blown out.
More blown out. Well, you got to fiddle with the levels. But I wanted to ask you when you started discovering, knowing that you could do kind of fun voices, because you do a really great Rocky.
Sylvester Stallone. Yeah. Look, everybody. Your fans of Revesa. Look, you come over to me, you be fans of mine too. Like she's a good girl, but like, come on.
And
I started, I was always doing impressions for my family. I was not popular in high school. I was a nerd. I hate using that word, but I was picked on. I didn't have girls. I didn't have I was always grounded. And so I started watching movies and memorizing lines to movies. And so I learned a lot of the voices for like trailers for the movie Jaws. Like I put my ear over and go, no creature has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without fear, without logic. It is as though God created the devil and gave him Jaws. See, you go swimming. So I remember doing that as a kid, like in my bedroom, and I used to borrow my parents' VCR and bring it up and dub movies, thinking they're going to be worth something, and in 10 years they all deleted, But I would do impressions. I do impressions on Saturday Night Live and do it for my parents, and I do like all these different impressions. And so and that was before I even knew what I was going to do. And then once I got into acting, it was a lucky thing. I was doing voiceovers in New York for commercials and stuff, but I wanted to do animation, and I never got a shot. And they were doing that show, Batman Beyond, which was a huge show. And somebody canceled. They couldn't make the recording. So my agent said, Michael could do it. And I go, what? And I went, and it was perfect timing because there was this woman, Andrea Romano, who's one of the biggest directors in animation, and her and Bruce Timm, who, created Batman Beyond. And they go, hey, can you do this? And I did it. And then they started bringing me back for other parts. And they go, you do impressions. Can you do this role as Christopher Walken? I'm like, hey, Batman, look, I play the Scarecrow. And then I would do like Kevin Spacey as Deadshot, no, you listen to me now, damn it. And I would do this whole thing where he talks. And so and then they go, we want you to audition for The Flash, for the Justice League. And I went in there and I auditioned. It was right after I got Lex Luthor, and I was playing Lex Luthor and Flash, a superhero and a supervillain at the same time. And from there on out, I started getting offers for video games. And, I did a lot of this game called Yakuza. I just did the Lego. I was the Flash in the Lego game or something. So, look, I love it. I don't work enough anymore with that stuff because I started doing mostly acting, and now I'm trying to get back in, and people are like, no, we've got our guys. So I'm trying to sneak back in.
We got our people. I'll put in a call and see if I hook you up with, some people.
Folks, come on.
Yeah, I'm working my way through. But you do enjoy getting into, especially in pandemic. It's kind of the perfect thing to be working on, because on-camera stuff has gotten a little bit I didn't want to really act during this whole time, and so most I've been writing and stuff, but to be able to do voiceovers, we did a Batman Beyond reading with Kevin Conroy, who's the original voice of Batman, and we did an old episode of Batman from Beyond last week, and it aired, and it was IGN did it, and it was awesome, and I played a couple of characters, and one of the characters I originally played when the series first aired, but I just love it. And yeah, we have a lot of time now, so I have a podcast because I do my podcast, so I do all my auditions there. Yeah. Have you been auditioning a lot?
I don't audition a lot. I'd say I probably audition maybe once a week for a voiceover thing, and I never get them. I don't get them anymore. I don't know what the hell. I don't get them.
Well, you are also really busy, wonderfully, with your podcast. It's an insanely successful listened to podcast.
Yeah, I think what people they gravitate towards it is because it's genuine. It's like, I'm not talking to celebrities about, ooh, cool. It's Zach Levi's on right now airing, and he talks about, like,
you've had him on like 3 times.
Yeah, because he's so great, because he talks about mental health, and he talks about the anxiety he has and the depression, and he even talks about the pills he takes, and, like, you know, it's not right for everybody, but, like, how he's working through it and being honest with himself and the world, like, hey, this is real. And, not all conversations go that way, but I had Stephen Amell on from Arrow, and he had a panic attack on the podcast.
Yeah.
Arrow, and it shows the world that, hey, he plays a superhero, but he's also a human being, and people have these things. So it's a lot of fun. I had Grant Gustin on, the Flash, just Supernatural guys. Jared and Jensen were on. And so it's just a really fun kind. So if you guys want to listen, you can watch on YouTube Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, or you can go on Spotify, Apple, but write a review and subscribe. That would be awesome.
It's my point of view. Inside of you, Michael Rosenbaum.
I was gonna change that. That's our theme song. But then my patrons and fans were like, "No, why? It's you." I go, annoying. I'm like, yeah, well.
No, I love it. What are you kidding? Like, every time it starts, I'm like, yeah, I sing along with it. Are you kidding? Dude, you're a great singer. Let's talk about you're a multifaceted artist. I love
everybody off. Now everybody's turned off. Now everybody's like done. They're like, oh, I'm just talking about music. I'm out.
What? No! These people are all loving you. You should see the comments going by. They love seeing you in Smallville. You're the best. We have Patreon fans here going, oh my God, I'm a huge fan. Supporting on Patreon, blah, blah. Wow, it's been a long time since I watched Smallville. You know, all these things.
Smallville's on Hulu now, and who knows? You know, people have been asking me, you never play Lex again. Well, if it's the right thing, that's all I'll say. And there's been some kind of conversations, and if it's the right thing, I'm not going to make an appearance as Lex. I'm either going to be Lex or no Lex. So
Lex or no Lex.
Lex or no Lex. But who knows what the future holds? But
the
music is great. I mean, that's what you're talking about. I love
your band is wonderful.
Look, my whole life, this goes out to everybody. If you've always wanted to do something, and you just love it, forget about making money, forget about all the other stuff. If you just want to do it because it makes you happy, that is your passion, that's your purpose. That's like that's what life is.
Yeah.
And so for many years I thought, oh, I have to be a great singer like Adam Lambert, or I shouldn't sing. Oh my God, he's so much better, she's so much better. That's not the point. The point is, I love music. I love making music. I think I make good music. To me, I love it. And so we started doing these Stageit, which Stageit, Stageit, they're live shows on this platform, and people watch and they comment, and we have prizes and Zooms and all these things, and we got a good following, and people started listening to us. So we just they helped us make an album, which I recorded at Capitol Records. The band is called Sunspin, and you can get merch and stuff at sunspin.com, and like the album.
This is different from Left on Laurel.
Right. I left on Laurel about a year and a half ago. I just wanted to expand and do something different, and COVID sort of put me in a place where, I couldn't hang out with a band anyway, but I could hang out with my friend Rob, who already had COVID, and we started making music together, and I started writing a lot of songs. He started putting his lead guitar over it, and the next thing you know, we've got an album we recorded in October. We just put it out, and iTunes and Amazon.
Is Rob your new roommate?
No roommate. I would never live with Rob. Oh my God, he's messy. He's so messy, I couldn't do it. But it's been a blast, and it just shows you that at the end of the day, if nobody listens to it, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, and people are really loving it, and it's been great. But I really, truthfully did it because I just love music. I'd certainly rather be a rock star than anything else I'm doing. I love the podcast too. So
yeah, I was gonna say you are really good at digging deeper into people's private lives. No, into the dark.
What's going on with your life? What's going on with your life? Are you dating?
I'm not dating.
Oh, we can't get into that now. We can get inside Ravassa here.
I don't generally talk about my private life in public.
Oh, really? Well, I do.
Great.
I don't.
I'll talk about troubles that I've had, or
sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like the dark times, but I think that there's a place for like certain things that don't need to be told to 100,000 people. So
I don't tell people about my relationships. I just kind of keep it very simple. But I just talk about life and my anxiety and
and I think that's important. I'll talk about like the darkness I went. Actually, when I met you, I was going through a breakup, and my heart was still mad broken.
You were smashed. You were like, I felt bad. Like it happened and it crushed you, and you were together for a long time. So that makes you have to embrace that and go. People tend to just put on an act and say, "Oh, everything's great. I'm great. Look how great I am," when you're not great. And sometimes it's okay to just be like, "I'm not great, but I'm doing the best I can."
Yeah, absolutely. But like in the regular world, we wouldn't put out a sign on our door saying, "Hey guys, I've broken up." So I don't believe that I necessarily have to put that on social media. But if people ask me, how do you deal with anxiety or depression or whatever, then it's like, let's talk about that, because we can't pretend like it doesn't happen. I just don't need to air out my dirty laundry in public.
I agree. I have a propensity for big word. For sort of talking about the things that happen in my life, dysfunction, funny family dysfunction, and I don't like to throw people under the bus, but I like to be honest. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say like nobody's perfect, but I'll definitely say, well, my dad was a businessman. He worked hard. He worked harder than anybody, but I don't think we had the best relationship in the world, and. Now and later in his age, he's working on that, or he's just been better, and he's a little more present in my life. And it's not to say that he wasn't present. There was just it's a long story, but if you listen to the podcast, you'll learn.
Yeah. No, I've learned a lot about your life through the podcast, because you connect with your guests by making it personal as well. When they share something, you go, "Oh wow, that happened to me," or "That was similar," or
that's kind of like how I roll. I like to. I don't interrogate people, but I like to go down these little wormholes of like, wait a minute, your dad was a drinker. Did that affect you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it affected us. Like, so was he around all the time? Was he present? I just I'm curious. I'm a fan. I've always been like, I was going to horror movie conventions before I became anybody, because I love horror movies, and my horror friends. We go to these conventions and we would just go meet like the dude from Dawn of the Dead, and I was doing that stuff. So I'm like I'm that fly on the wall like everybody else. I want to ask questions that real people would.
Absolutely. And I agree. Yeah. It's funny. I was going to ask you like what was one of the things that you've learned from your podcast, and then we have a question here from MVNP. What's some of the best advice you've ever received? Because you've had some really incredible people on your podcast. What do you feel like you've been able to incorporate that
I just learned how to listen.
The fawns gave you or something,
Well, I've learned how to listen more. Sometimes, I'll see comments and they'll be like, "Let it talk." Those were old comments, and I'm like, fuck, I'm sorry, I got excited. I got really excited talking to Bob Odenkirk, Better Call Saul, and his story about Chris Farley, and I became a little kid talking about it, so I talked a lot.
Yeah.
Usually I'm listening and I'm letting them talk, and, sometimes you go over them. That's just part of it, par for the course. But the advice really is to just try to love yourself, It's stupid. It sounds stupid, but it's so true. It's just, most people are like, hey, you have to be better to yourself. You have to know that everybody goes through it. So I think that's ultimately, Tom Welling, who was my Superman, he'll always be my Superman.
One of the comments is Tom Welling is the body, Michael is the soul of Smallville.
Thank you. But
yes, that's you. Well, you have a body too, don't? There are shirtless pictures of the Rosenbaum on the Instagram, but you're the soul. That's a really big.
Well, he said, "What is that? It's kind of dirt on there or something." Oh well, what are you gonna do? He said in the podcast, "You can't truly be creative if you're in survival mode. If you're always scared, if you're always fearing, you can't be the best you can be." And I love that, and that was one of the best quotes I've heard. Maybe he stole it, but it resonated with me. And that's sort of like just being a good person, be a kind person is so much easier than being an asshole. So if you could just, people will gravitate towards you, I think, if you're kind, and you don't have to put on some act like, oh, look at me, I'm an actor, I have to be cool for some reason. I'm just a very approachable person,
I know you asked Steve Amell about this, but do you feel like you personally have dealt with moments on set where you were so overtired that you were an asshole to a PA, or something happened where you're a good, fun dude always? Is there a moment where you're like, you like lost it, but it was also almost out of your control, or because you're trying to create the best work you want to do, and for some reason you can't? Because those things happen too, and it's really hard to be level-headed always.
I do it with fun. I do it. I've always been like, instead of yelling at someone, if somebody clearly is fucking around or doing something, I'd be like, Russ, for the love of God, will you shut the front door? And everybody will laugh, and then we'll go on instead of yelling at somebody.
Yeah.
I was always close with the crew. I was always it was a big family to me. Have I ever been an asshole? Fuck yeah. Have I ever been a pompous dick? Sure. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm not going to go through life I'm certainly not perfect now. I wasn't perfect then. I've acted like, when you're a kid, you're 26 when I got small. I'm sure there were moments where I was a jerk or whatever, but, now I try to make those moments not as, visible. I try to, if I'm feeling a certain way, I try to, go, hey, this is about you. This has nothing to do with anybody else.
Yeah.
Die and scream or go out and just have a cry somewhere, but shut the fuck up. And this isn't about anybody but yourself, because it's usually about ourselves. It's something we don't trust in ourselves, something we're insecure about. I mean, you look at the people who lash out, it's always because, it's something inside of them that's, you don't have to be that, you don't have to be mean to people. It's easy to be nice. So,
it is, right?
What was the question from someone?
That I asked you just now?
Is that the question?
Well, no, I was just thinking about you asking Steve Amell because there were rumors or something. You mentioned this in your podcast that he was kind of a dick on set sometimes, and he was saying that being number one on the call sheet is really hard because you're carrying the show, and sometimes you do have to go into that mode, and it's not always easy to just be the fun guy on set because you have to be very focused. I
think, Steven, when you get a show, it's an overwhelming thing, especially if you're the lead. It's his first lead role, and from what I know, Steven's a great guy, open, friendly, loving, and I'm sure people could say something about everybody. Oh, Carolina, I went up to her once and she just turned her head. And you're like, if you look back and rewind, you're like, no, I turned my head because somebody yelled my name.
Yeah.
There's always a reason for it. And then when that person says you're an asshole, and then the kind of domino effects through everybody, all of a sudden there's a rumor that you're an asshole. And the reality is people have bad days. You're not an asshole. And don't believe anything you hear until you meet the person. Don't try to have oh, that guy, I heard he's like a real asshole. Until you meet the guy, or until enough people have said it. Yeah. Don't believe a handful of people in the world. So.
And if they were an asshole, I've also observed how dude, we were at a con and Paul Rudd stayed 3 hours after he was supposed to continue signing autographs. But I'm sure if at hour 12, as he's walking out of the convention center, if somebody grabs him for a picture, I can imagine him just
I went up to Joaquin Phoenix once, years ago, and we have a distant relative. It's so distant. It's once removed. But my grandfather told me that, we were at River's funeral and whatever. Yeah. And so when I saw him, I didn't know what else to do. And I was kind of starstruck. It was many moons ago. Yeah. Hey, we actually share a commonality or whatever. My grandmother and he's like, hey, I don't want to talk about this right now. And this turned away and walked away. And I go, he just shut me down. Yeah. And for a while I was mad. I was like, God, man, he wouldn't even listen to my story at all. He just shut me off completely. That was uncalled for. He could have been like, oh, cool. Oh, wow. Nice to meet you. Or it's like, hey, I can't right now. I'm so sorry, but it's really nice to meet you. Something. Now, later on, I realized maybe he was having a bad day. Maybe he just got in a fight with his girlfriend. Maybe somebody passed away in his family. So I don't know. So I'm not going to be against him. I think he's a brilliant actor. I'd watch anything he does. And there was a moment where he just wouldn't talk to me, and that's it happens. So,
and he might not even remember that moment.
He certainly wouldn't remember that moment, but I did. That's the thing you have to remember as a star or as an entertainer. Every moment is remembered by the person you're talking with. You may not remember it because you're doing it all the time, talking to fans, but every time you talk to a new fan, that's their moment. That's their time. It's like Goonies. This is our time. And they will remember that moment for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So you have to make that moment special. I feel like compelled to make a moment, make something where I say, hey, there's John over there. It's something, and I made a mistake. We talk about being an asshole. I wasn't an asshole, but I was at a football game in Indiana, at a high school football game where I went to high school. And my friends dragged me there. I don't even know why I went because I never went to the games when rarely. I wasn't popular. I don't know what the hell I was doing. Still trying to find myself, even in my late 20s, early 30s. And I remember kids were swarming me. And I was like, hey, and signing. And all of a sudden I missed the first half because I'm nonstop signing. I go, all right, that's it. I'm going to watch the game. Being funny. And this kid goes, hey, I said I'm watching the game. Kidding around. And he goes, and he turned around and walked off. I go, no, hey. But I couldn't get his attention. That moment, even though I know I didn't mean to, has haunted me for years. This fact that I'm remembering it from 17 years ago bothers me to this day that I'm like, that kid somewhere is like...
Oh, but you're also human, right? Like, you had just spent 20, 30 minutes, like, focusing on these people, and sometimes it's overwhelming, and you're just like, okay, stop, enough! Like, you reach a point where, like, poor Britney Spears shaved her head because she reached a point of insanity.
Well, you did too.
Yeah. This happened before pandemic, so it wasn't that,
I'm just saying, ultimately, be kind.
Yes.
I try. I mess up. I'm sure we mess up. But as long as you have the thought of like, hey.
What makes you excited right now? We've learned so much in pandemic of being alone, not being able to connect with the friends, not being able to hug people. Like, what are you looking forward to? What are you working on that's like got the creative juices flowing?
I just wrote 2 horror movies that I turned into my agent, and he loves them. And then I've got another project.
Do you need Dead Girl number 7 that dies in a jacuzzi at the end?
It's pretty bad. They're pretty badass. I love them. And then there's one project that we're trying to sell, and it looks like we have a big name attached, so that could help us. And then there's another project that I sent to my old buddy Tom Welling, and he flipped out and said, "This is the funniest thing I've ever written or I've ever read." And I go, all right. He goes, we should do this. So we're talking about maybe doing a little series together, but it's very, it's not going to happen, but it's in the very beginning stages if it even does happen.
Aww,
but, he was really excited. I was really excited. My new literary agent read it, so this is the funniest thing I've ever read. And I was like, really? So Tom said the same thing. So the fact that, so who knows? Maybe Tom and I will reunite and do something together. I don't know. It's beginning stages, but it would certainly be fun.
Are you writing these because you want to act, or you'd love to direct, or do both?
Both. I'd love to act in a series that I wrote or created, or something that I just am really passionate about. I think people a lot of times think that, well, what is he doing? And reality with me is, I wish it was that way. Oh, I don't wish it was that way, but for me, I'm just incredibly picky to the point where I'd rather do nothing straight from this point on. So I've upset friends when they say, can you do me a favor? I'm like, no. I either want to do my own things, whether it's great or not, or something on the outside that someone brings that I can't pass up. And I haven't yet to pass on something that I thought was unpassable. It just doesn't seem like the things, the opportunities I don't particularly love. So for me, I'd love to have a show on the air that I have creative input. I'd love to act on a show that I'm the creator and reading my lines, and and that's why I keep writing and writing. I've written a lot of scripts, and I've only sold a small amount, but
and your like favorite genre that you want to work on is horror?
Yeah, I love horror. more than anything. So we've got 2 completely different movies that we wrote. I have a writing partner, Jane, who's awesome. We work so well together, and it's great because when you're writing with a woman, she writes the female characters really well. I write the male characters real well, and together it's real. Because a male writer writing women's roles, they don't know how to talk like a woman. And female roles, although females mostly know how to talk, how men talk. So, but ultimately, I think in this world, it's like I don't want to do things because it makes other people happy.
Yeah.
Makes others like, you get a job, you're like, your agent's happy, your lawyer's happy, your business manager's happy, everybody's happy. But then you're like, you're the one who has to go to work.
Yeah.
Because you love it. And I'm in a good place where, look, if I had to work right now, I'd work at McDonald's. I wouldn't care. I'd do anything to make money. I've been there before. I know the value of money. And but thankfully, I can pass on things and wait to see if some of these things come to fruition. So I just hope they do. And if not, maybe we'll do the Indiegogo campaign and try to get some money raised to make a movie or make a TV show. So who knows? Yeah.
Well, and you have enough, of a following where and your Patreon where they'd support a project that you love and that they're excited to see you make.
Well, my patrons are just, I didn't know what Patreon was. I didn't know what it was. And I thought, no one's going to want to give any extra to the podcast. It's a little podcast. And then I realized, wait a minute, people really benefit from this podcast and it affects people.
Yeah.
And it's become this family. So it is unbelievable. I think I have almost 700 patrons or something. And
wow.
It's a beautiful thing. And, there's the tiers, the top tier. Oh, you get packages from me every 4 months, or I do a Zoom occasionally with everybody, or there's Inside of Me where you ask me questions, and I always dress up like different characters asking me the questions.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
There's so many different, there's shit talking where with the guests. So people from Patreon get to ask the guest questions, and so we have fun things, and people have stuck around, and there are those loyal patrons that just stick with me and stick with the podcast.
Well, because you are helping. Like I love listening to your podcast because I always thought, oh, Shazam was born Shazam, and then once you hear him talk, it's like, nah, dude, he's eating shit like everybody else, and you have too, like the struggles of life, not just, being in this crazy business. They remind us as we're up and coming and working every day towards things. Like there's times when everyone's struggling and how you get through it is what's really important.
Yeah, I think that's the truth. I think people listen to the episodes because it's like, hey, what did this guy go through? How did he get through it? Maybe that will work for me. But everybody has a different take on how they face adversity or depression or anxiety or life. And some people, we don't even talk about a lot of that stuff because they're genuinely happy. There's some actors who come on and go, I love myself and I really don't have, I wish I had, not that they wish they had anxiety, but it's just, and that's also uplifting. It's like, well, what do you do that's different? So maybe I could live that kind of life where you're happy. Well, I exercise a lot and I never understood why people work so much and want to work constantly work. Because jump from project to project. I'm like, I wonder what would happen if they were alone. And I've certainly learned I'm learning how to be alone. And that's the hardest part, to really just be alone and be okay with it and go, all right, I love you, dude. You're okay. And to say I love you to yourself is not easy. I mean, one of my therapists once goes, I want you to say I love you in the mirror. I go, what? That's embarrassing. She goes, what, to you? And I go, oh. So I remember waking up the first morning, and I was too cool even for myself. I was like, love you, dude. I was like, what are you doing? And then eventually, I was like, just say it, man. Like, fucking tell yourself, and learning to love yourself I think, it stems from your parents and their love for you and letting you become the man you ultimately become, or woman. And, but eventually you have to say, you can't blame your parents forever. You're your own entity. You're your own person, and you have to become that. And you have to learn to love yourself, and you have to learn to forgive and forget. Not forget, forgive. Yeah. And just be the best you can be. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I was going to sing the Army National Guard, be all that you can be. No?
Because we need you with me.
Body parts! We have a follower here who works works in something similar. Anyway, so one of the questions was, because I know Michael has a limited time, guys. We're letting him go in 10 minutes.
Is there anybody watching?
Yes, dude. There's over 100 people.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, great.
They're coming and going. There's been so many comments. You're just not looking at them. But like, Zach Levi is so good. Oh my God, Michael. I'm on a Patreon supporter.
I'm not worried about accolades or people telling me how great. I'm just saying I hope that somebody who's like, enjoying this.
Dude, so many people are your followers that love you and will watch everything you're doing. Awesome comments, people learning about your podcast and you. Like, I can't address all the things that come up, but I am picking out questions. And one of them is, what's one of your favorite moments about working on Guardians of the Galaxy? And if you can tell us about that.
I had such a small part, a couple of lines, and I'd say that my favorite part was being with some of my friends who were in the movie, who I know, just hanging around them, and being around Stallone and really becoming friendly with Stallone and having great conversations with Sly.
Yeah.
That was a dream come true. And, just like hanging out with my friends, hanging out with James Gunn, and he took us out to a big dinner while I was there in Atlanta. And it was a nice time. And
where was this shot?
Atlanta, and then I shot a scene in LA at the studios.
I know you've had Justin Hartley on, and have you seen his episode of This Is Us where he works with Stallone?
No, I should probably check that out.
Yeah,
I love him. He's great. In fact, we're trying to do something together, so we'll see what happens. But I gotta watch that episode. Is it funny? Everything in This Is Us makes me cry, but it's heartfelt because he gets to work with him, and because his deceased dad loved him so much, Justin has this moment with him that's really beautiful. And I was just thinking, like real life, I don't know if you had like heart-to-hearts with Stallone, but kind of a parallel of getting to work with, a person you admire so much, and it has like such a rich history in the film world, We talked about our back problems a lot. He's like, wait a minute, you got surgeries? I got 7 spines. He goes, I've had like 8. I go, you gotta one up me? He's like, look, what? Who's your doctor? And I told him, my dad goes, are you kidding? That's my fucking doctor. That guy's an asshole. No, it was an old doctor. He's like, yeah, he gave me his cell phone. Like, I called him. He didn't answer his phone. I'm like, he didn't answer Slider. That's what I'm saying. So.
Question, did you ever do your impression of him to him?
Yeah. I said to him, I go, I did something. He goes, are you doing an impression of me right now? I go, I'm just kidding around. I go, nah, it wasn't bad. It's not bad.
Oh my God.
I did something like, I did this spider thing where I pretended I was a spider, and I just went up his hand while we were just on a take. And I was like, look, it's the happy spider, And I was just like, look, it's the happy spider. And he's like, hey, get your happy spider away from me, will you? But it was all fun. We were always just goofing around. And like, there was a scene where he's like looking around, and this is off camera. We're about to roll, and I've got like 2 lines, and I'm just focusing on my 2 lines. And he's like looking around before we're about to shoot. He goes, look at this. They got rust. You think they figure out a way to get rid of rust in space or in the future, right? And I go, Sly, can you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to fuck. He goes, oh, sorry. All right, you got a line. You got your line. All right. Oh, I'm sorry.
You got your one line in this huge movie. Oh, man.
I was like my buddy James. I was like, I'm finally in a Guardians movie with you. You have to CGI my fucking face. But, I was happy to be part of it. It was great.
I was just going to say, like, even if it was a small part, like, you got to be on a set with a bunch of great people, and I guess you'd never met Stallone before, right? So that was that.
I had met Stallone, but I never really talked to him all that much. But he signed my Rambo lunchbox. I have a Rambo lunchbox. He signed it for me. He goes, you got a lunchbox? You're an adult. You want me to sign your lunchbox? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'm signing your lunchbox.
Because you're a true nerd. In your office, you have a bunch of collectible. You love Star Wars. You have a bunch of Star Wars stuff.
I wonder if I could show anything.
Oh, there she is. Look at her.
That's Princess Leia's chair. She gave it to me.
Yeah.
She gave me her chair, a Force Awakens chair, and there's a Karate Kid autograph by Danny LaRusso. There's me and Chris Farley in that picture.
You haven't gotten Billy Zapka to sign it too?
Billy Zapka did sign something for me. He's pissing me off though because he doesn't respond to my text. I want to have him on the podcast. I guess after this new show, he became a big star.
Hey, he's busy. They're shooting season 3 right now.
Make a podcast for an hour. So,
I'm good friends with his love interest in the show, so I'll tell her to give him a nudge.
Don't worry about it.
But that's got to be amazing too, watching Karate Kid and then getting these guys. Like, did you ever think that you'd be interviewing all these people that you've loved their work for so long?
No, I never thought I'd be interviewing anybody. I never thought that's what, whatever you believe, God had in the cards for me. I just thought, I'll be an actor and that's all I'll do. And then I got to Hollywood and I go, I want to write. I want to direct. I want to be in a band. I want to do a podcast. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to do everything. I'll have a podcast. That's the thing in the world. Just because you have a certain job doesn't mean on the side you can't do something you love.
Yeah.
I want to be a sports commentator. I still want to do some, even if they're college baseball games. Go, here's the pitch on the way, and a line drive and a right field base hit, and the Mets have something going here in the first inning. Carolina, the Mets last year had I'd love to do something like that.
Well, have you seen that show?
No.
Or Spartacus did.
I haven't seen it though.
Where he plays a commentator of baseball?
No. I heard about it though. Will you email me when you remember the name?
Yes. It's actually really, really good.
It's Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria, thank you. And it's a beautiful show. But like that, it was based on a character he created because he's an old timey guy who talks like this, and that's how he reports the baseball or whatever.
It's weird. It's pretty like holy shit.
What?
It's a little off color, isn't it?
Why?
I don't know. I remember seeing a clip or something, and it was a little bit like.
Oh, the whole show. I thought the fact that he was talking like that.
No, the show was just a little like, whoa.
No, the reason his wife leaves him is weird, but then she also just says, dude, I'm into this. What's wrong with it? Like, I actually think it's really well done. Give it a shot.
I'll watch it.
But what I was going to say is, like, if these are things that you love, dude, that's the character you're going to write and play. Like Ted Lasso, that's based on a character that was created, and then it turned into this thing,
I would like to. I just want to, I don't even care. I just want to, like, commentate a couple baseball games to say I did it. Just to be like, harmless cumulus clouds lingering overhead, fans filing off the subway ramp. It is a beautiful day for a ball game here. And here's the opening pitch, and it's Carolina Ravasi. You might know her from a couple of video games, I want one of your dolls too, the pop things.
Do you? I have a, well, there they are. I just
sign one and send one to me since you have 800.
Right now close. There's about 100. I was doing a signing with Streamily. Have you done the Streamily? You can sign stuff on there. It's a great, it's like an online convention, but no.
But I had like I have the podcast store is called the Inside of You online store. But you can get like Smallville Lunchbox autographed. You can get Lex Pictures autographed, and it's coming from the source because there's so many people selling my autograph. And I was like, why don't I sell them so they know it's coming from me?
Yeah.
And so
you sign them and you put them in an envelope and you take them to the post office?
I do. I mean, occasionally I'll have someone if I'm overwhelmed with work, but I sign them and pack. Most of them I pack up. I'd say 90%.
Oh wow!
And go in my back room and do it. It's kind of cathartic. It's comforting.
Yeah. So guys, now you can get an autograph from Rosie online. You can check out his podcast. You can go to the Patreon. The links are being shared here.
I'm doing Cameo one-on-ones on freaking Thursday. They have the one-on-ones now, so you can talk to people. That's pretty cool. So I usually do like 10 or 15 of them in a little while.
You stack them all up. You can choose to do like Saturday.
Yeah, I'm just doing it on Thursday night.
Super.
Some people talk to them, and we have good conversations and a lot of laughs and. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I am not going to take any more of your time, Rosie. Thank you so much for joining. You guys have to check out his socials. He's on social media as the Michael Rosenbaum, correct?
The Michael Rosenbaum on Instagram.
And your Twitter is Rosenbaum.
At Michael Rosenbaum on Twitter because I couldn't fit down those assholes on Twitter.
You couldn't. I was wondering because when I tagged you, I was like, the first time I ever tagged you, I'm like, I tagged the wrong guy. It's not Rosenbaum, and it was you.
But the Michael Rosenbaum on Instagram is what I mostly use. And I'm on Facebook. But listen, give the podcast a chance. I think you guys will dig it. It's Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. You can watch it on YouTube and write a review. And
because you've been doing videos now, right?
Yeah, we have. All the interviews are up, and they look great in my podcast room. We just redid it, and so you can watch Zach today. We got some great ones like Matthew Lewis, who is Neville Longbottom in Harry Potter. He's coming up. We had Katie Cassidy from Arrow last week, Michael Cudlitz from Walking Dead, Kristen Krug, Tom Welling, just all those. It's
so cool. Many. So many. I usually shout out the people who've subscribed. I want to let you go before I do that because I know you have.
All right. Well, I love you.
Things to do.
For spending time with me. I'm glad I did this.
Absolutely. You're so welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
Guys, I'm so happy that we had him on, and he had to go, so I had promised him it would be short and sweet. Danny, thank you for bearing with me here. Let's do some shout outs. I'm wondering what the screen looks like. There's such a delay. Oh, Danny fixed it. She is so on it. I'm sorry we didn't get our screenshot, Danny. In the future, we will. Okay, so let's do some shout outs, and I'm happy to stick around a little bit longer and answer questions or anything else that you, because now I'm obviously very focused on the chat. You guys were great. Thank you so much. Lots of comments came by. I know that a lot of you follow him on Patreon, so I wasn't shouting out the stuff that you were saying because I'm sure you let him know on his other socials how much you love him there. Let's see. We got, who the hell is Maisie Grope subscribing for 5 months on Prime? Okay, I guess, thank you. Happy to be here always. Obrigada, menina. Happy dance. 30Fox22, you subscribed for 6 months at tier 1? What is wrong with you, man? Thank you. You're amazing. There was an anonymous gifter that gifted a 1 month tier 1 sub to Kelly S774496. What's with all the numbers, guys? I just wish they were words. It would be so much easier. There was a hype train 42 minutes ago. Rad. Thank you. I love that little Maxwell is sitting on top of the chat in this Twitch thing. I've never really seen the screen like that. Let's shout out some more. Another anonymous gifter gifted 1 month tier 1 to Hidden Joshta. Yay! Another hype train at level 1. You guys contributed a total of 4 sub-gifts. I can't read English anymore. MVNP gave out 1 tier 1 community gift sub. And thank you for your great questions. You really were asking some awesome questions during this whole thing. Mercy Yura subscribed for 4 months. Hi, doll. How are you? I know you were 35 minutes late, so you really only caught 10 minutes. Sorry. But it's okay, guys. You have a life. You can rewatch later or not watch, and it's all good. Ray's voice line for Mercy Yura. Killjoy! Thanks for letting me borrow your alarm bot. It's so much better with explosions. Why did you never try that? Ooh, boop, and boom.
Hack the planet.
Oh my gosh, more subscriptions happening. What's my favorite Sombra character ship? Simbra, hello. Sombra and Symmetra. I've always thought this, like, I don't know if Sombra likes guys or girls, but I think she'd be a cute couple with Lucio. Ciber Cifrado gave out 10 tier 1 community sub-gifts. Dude, thank you so much. Hey, dude, aloha. And Genesis PT subscribed with Prime. I don't sing, but I try. Carolina Ravasa. Could you say, Joshua Lucid Science, feliz cumpleaños, but where's the fun in playing fair? Yeah. All right, guys. Any chance of another Overwatch gameplay with Fitz video? Ooh, you see, the problem is I can't, my computer can't handle that stuff. And in pandemic, we can't meet up to do this. So I'll gladly do it. It's just a matter of logistics right now. And we're doing everything via Zoom these days. So I don't know if that's going to happen. But, let's break it down. I sounded a little crazy there. Yes, cyber is too much. Thank you so much for all your gift subs. That's incredible. Or sub gifts. I have dyslexia. Y'all know that. You sounded like Ray's? Damn. Oh, let's break it down. Yeah, I guess. I get excited and my voice goes raspy. I don't know. Me fue muy bien en las audiciones. Adriana Gray, gracias. I sent 5 auditions this week, guys. they were exciting, but they were a lot. So a lot of memorizing lines and working at different characters. So cross some fingers, send some love, light some candles, pray to the Virgin Mary, or to all the saints in your Mexican life, or your Polish Catholicism, or whatever religion you follow, or whatever universal thing you do. Just like, send me some love. Sí, tú puedes. Yes. We need a GoFundMe to get Carolina a gaming PC. No, guys, right now I'm focused on trying to finish Morgan's Mask. It takes a lot of time to pick the best edits and to make stuff work. So, yeah. Gosh, no, I don't need a gaming PC, guys. I don't have time for that. I'm trying to pursue my dream, which is acting, okay? Y'all can play games because it's your dream, and my dream is my career. Yeah, Ginger Cats, that's what's up. Well, anyway, let me know if you have any more questions. I had a great time with Rosenbaum. He's all over the place in terms of like busy doing stuff. He was preparing for an interview with Howie Mandel today. So, I know he asks some really deep questions and he gets into the nitty gritty of people's lives. So, glad he came on and ta-da. Priorities right here. Exactly. Games, career, right? If I was a Twitch live streamer only, then yes, I would be focusing on all the different ways to live stream for you guys. But right now, like, I'm spending a lot of time. Well, my microphone's out because I was doing a video earlier, but I'm in my closet recording auditions. So I'm focusing a lot on that stuff. Oh yeah, I am going to add another signing this week. Probably Saturday or Sunday because the shop closes on Sunday. So if I sign before, then there's still going to be more autographs that I have to sign later. And I like to just bunch them all up because I think it's more fun for you guys. And that way you don't have to sift through like 7 signings to see when your stuff was signed. Any other Morgan Mask type projects? Yo, booty. I'm still getting through this one. It's a lot. So for now, I'm not going to self-produce anything. If anything, I'll work on stuff that's already being produced and that has been greenlit. Not that I have to do. Okay. Give me an address. I have a gaming laptop I could drop ship, 32 gigs RAM. Not the newest, but it'll play Overwatch for sure. Cyber, you are so funny. Actually, I was going to ask. I am trying to help a kid in Colombia who is trying to buy an editing laptop. He does need a brand new one, not a used one. But if any of you know of cool discounts or organizations that donate laptops to like up and coming directors, he works on a lot of music videos in Colombia and he's really good at what he does. But now his little computer isn't, cutting it. So if you have any ideas on that, that would be awesome. Do I want a gaming laptop? You are so funny. Well, okay, Danny, you're connected to Cyber Cifrado. Let's think about that. I don't know if PC Specialist is actually cheap. You can customize your PC. He needs a Mac for what he's doing. A 16-inch, I don't know how many gigs and RAMs and blah, blah, blahs. So it is about $3,000 for this. But I'm not going to go do another Kickstarter to help this dude Reno out. So anyway, just putting it out there. Thank you, Cito at Chase. Are you Silas? Have I signed something for you? A pop? Because I did sign Silas Martele. Is that you? No. Right? Is it 2 different people? Anyway, thought I'd ask. All right, guys. So yes, I'm still signing autographs on streamly.com/Carolina Rabasa. And as you can see, the posters are up there on the wall, which is, they're fun posters. I want to zoom in so you can see them closer. Actually, let's walk over. We don't have a guest on. We can move. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And did you catch my flag? Yes, flag right there. Okay. So microphone. We got the dual print there. That's on Janai. We sign it together. Fire and Ice. I know who's been naughty. We got this one made to you by Maisie Grobe. She's put all these together. This one is actually Wizzy Whoozia. Then we have, God, I hate that this flips it because I don't know. Is it frozen for me? It's not moving right now. The chat is not moving, but I don't know if it's frozen. Are you guys? Now I see stuff. The Sombra poster is my favorite, not frozen. Okay. And then we have the Tulum skin, which is like, oh my God, super, one of my favorites. And then the OG Obvi, and another, I know who's been naughty over here. Everything can be hacked and everyone. And then I got my little dream catcher here. I want you to see this. This artist is hilarious. Sniffing etiquette. How to go to the bathroom and sniff properly. I think it's adorable. Anyway, that one's one of my favorites. I don't know why. No lifting. And then the fan. Come on, guys. This is crazy. All right. Enough. So that's what's going on, people. Need Tulum cosplay. I know. I hope maybe the next con. That's the one I want to do. Ooh, any way to get that Fire and Ice poster signed? Absolutely, Ciber Cifrado. They're on the website. They're on streamly.com/Carolina Rabasa. Cool secret lab chair. I know. If you guys want to buy one of these, there's a link on my Twitch where you can get it there. Right now, I don't think that there's any discounts happening. There were during Christmas. So I'm sure no one's will come up. But this is definitely a super delicious chair with nice pillows, very cushy and all the stuff. Lucy running for Tulum mayor. She's hilarious. I will support her in anything she does. Yeah. All right. Frozen. Let it go, let it go. My secret lab chair is amazing. Yes, Twitty Kit. I'm so happy. That is awesome. Super, super rad. You guys are the best. Thank you for Maisie Grove. I'm not joking. Answer your DMs. Answer your DMs, Maisie Grove. All right, guys. I have to go because, you know, life is happening. I'm trying to think of what else I need to update you on. Auditions, VOs. Oh, I booked a little voiceover for a Nickelodeon cartoon. It's really exciting. It's tiny, but it's another episode. And I'm going to be doing more Fogo commercials for radio here in Los Angeles for a Brazilian churrascaria, or, you know, the meat companies, the restaurants that serve you tons of meat. I did, buddy, I did. And then an Old Navy spot in Spanish, where I get to do a voice like Siri in Spanish. So, you know, little stuff that's happening, and it's exciting. So if you listen to the radio in Los Angeles, you might hear my voice. But if you don't, you might not. Auditions, can I? Well, you have to get the auditions first. So, you know, it takes a while. Yes, holy crap, signed by Anj and me. Actually, we do a discount on that. Usually we charge a little bit more, but as a duel, we do that together. There's also a fun little friendship poster we have on streamly.com that you can, where it's just Anj and me being silly. So that one's another one that you're welcome to purchase. And that's a super discount. That one's that's $20 off. My country ID doing that? I don't know, Captain Panchi, where are you? Pakistan? India? I think those are tricky because I know somebody in India was telling me that they couldn't do Streamly orders. What kind of agencies? Depends on where you are, Michelle. Like, you have to reach out locally first because that's how it goes down. I don't know how you'd get in touch with the ones in LA. I live here and that's how that works. But go to iwanttobea.voiceactor.com and you can learn all about that stuff. Danny, if you want to put that in that chat. The fact that the cast does those signing thingings. It's called iwanttobea.voiceactor.com. Yeah. Just in case, if you want to, they're good tips on how to start getting auditions. You're from Brazil, Panchi. They say they mail worldwide. So check out the website, try to order one, and then you put in all your information and see if you can get it out. It's just tricky because the mail has been such a piece of crap lately. Like, I'd offer it to mail it to you directly, but Maisie Group waited 3 months for something. So I'm almost like hesitant that stuff gets lost in the mail. Yeah, Fogo do Chão. Anyway, guys, this has been great. Thank you so much for hanging. We'll be here on Thursday with Sean Ryan Peterson, who is the voice of Valentino on Victor and Valentino on Cartoon Network. He is super fun. He's got a great following. Look him up on Insta. Really talented guy as well. And he's a gamer, and he loves playing D&D on Twitch as well. So he'll be a really fun guest to have. Thank you all for watching. Sending you love, and keep booming and booping.